600 organisations throughout Australia, with $80 million or more amassed in savings. Savings of the ordinary worker, the wage earner in the community, who normally would have great difficulty in borrowing money because of lack of the securities.
Employees Credit Union Office, one of the biggest in the state. In its 4 years of operation, the 3,000 members have borrowed $2.5 million, repaid $1.5 million, and saved $1 million. 4 full-time staff man the office, which has a lending program of anything from $2 to $2,000 for what's described as any good purpose, which means anything from home purchase to cars to education expenses to medical bills. This credit union, like most, lends the money at a 5.3% flat rate of interest, about 5/12 of a cent per dollar per fortnight, or a halfpenny in the pound. The savings interest rate is 6%. Today, while some city council workers were queuing up to do business, I asked their opinions of the credit union idea.
Well, in one part, it helps you out. If you run into debt, well, you can always come and get a loan and finance them up. You've got no worries about hire purchase then whatsoever.
Well, it's helped me out with my motor car. Expenses and everything pile up. It's always very handy. It's quite a nest egg to fall back on a rainy day, you know.
You can buy a lot of household things cheaper through the credit union than you would through a hire purchase and save a few quid that way.
Well, I run into trouble with credit squares, and the credit union pulled me out of a lot of trouble. They helped me in every way they possibly could.
And it saves at the end of the year by deducting it out of your pay there to pay your registration on your car and insurance over there, and then if I want to buy there, I don't have to buy it through hire purchase.
You get a lot better bank interest here than you would, like at a bank. It's a lot better to save. Well, you don't miss it when it comes straight out of your wages. You don't have to worry about going over the bank.
Chairman of the City Council Employees Credit Union, Dermot, told me that of 8,200 loan applications, the credit union has only refused 6.
It's probably brought about by the fact we've developed a system of loan counselling, and people make application for loans who are financially perhaps inept as a term. We call them in and discuss their financial problems with them. And we've found in some instances that the people have been persuaded to accept something less because they were making applications for more money than they really needed on investigation. And in many other instances we've found that it was wise to lend them actually more than that amount for which it applied.
Is there a compulsory savings scheme as well?
It's not compulsory as such, but when a new member of the staff is introduced at the credit union, he's strongly urged to save something. We ask that he save no less than 50 cents per week, and to date nobody's ever refused to save that.
Now, what's the bad debt situation like in your credit union?
Well, it averages out like the rest of the credit unions in the state, something in the order of pretty good, I do believe, and a pretty fair indication that the average man is honest, given a chance to repay his debts under favourable circumstances.
And Mr. Ryan, what effect do you feel the existence of a credit union has on staff?
In the past, people have been inclined to avail themselves of the accumulated leave payments they might have due to them when faced with some sudden financial emergency. Take their long service leave and resign, or even their annual leave. They've resigned for amounts as low as £16 as it was then. Now that with the advent of the credit union, of course, they have somebody with whom they can confide, tell their financial troubles to, and are assisted, and the necessity for resignation then disappears.
This gold badge was given by the international credit movement to Mr. Stan Arneil for forming over 50 credit unions in Australia. Mr. Arneil is now president of the Australian Federation of Credit Union Leagues. Stan Arneil reckons the growth of and need for credit unions here is because of the average working man's difficulty in reaching the accepted standard of living.
You see, all working people get different wages, but the standard of living is the same, and it is not set by the working people. So the working man must buy a television set now, for example, same type of pants on his kids, same school shoes. Everybody got in different wages. They had to live on credit. So that people who sold credit sold for the highest possible interest rate that they could afford the working man to pay. Now the working man has the opportunity not only to buy credit when he needs it at low cost, but to keep all his credit buying in one package. This is much cheaper for him and gives him a much better value in his wages.
Well, with the obvious success story of credit union development in Australia, what's the federal government's attitude to credit unions?
Well, the Commonwealth government has demonstrated that it is against the credit union movement. Hasn't said this in so many words other than the fact that, for example, the Home Savings Grants Act, it has denied the credit unions the same privileges which other lending institutions have for the benefit of this act. In the Home Savings Grants Act, we believe that because the credit union movement is eliminating entirely the high-cost second mortgage racket, that's all it is, we believe that we're entitled to some privilege for this. All we're interested in doing with regard to the home savings of the Commonwealth Government is getting the young people into homes, we don't care how, because we've demonstrated that personal lending can be a success. We're not worried about the finance companies. We're in competition with them, and we think this is our right. It's a free enterprise country. The usurers and the very, very high second mortgage interest will eliminate them from the working man eventually in this country.
Well, at the moment, I understand the general credit union lending limit is about $2,000. Is there a final limit to this?
Well, there's no limit really. For example, in New South Wales now, many credit unions are lending up to $4,000, but the limit is only as far as the credit union itself. We'll have credit unions with 10, 15 and $20 million here in this city within a few years. Well, the limit that they will make will be decided by their